Hi, I'm Richard Ham. I'm the creative director at Splash Damage Studios in London, England.
They called it the Ark. It was their vision of the future. Peaceful, sustainable. The pinnacle of science and engineering. But it became more than that. It became the last promise of salvation on a dying planet. A promise for some. But not for all.
BRINK is set on the Ark. Now the Ark is this big man-made floating city that's out at sea, and it was actually designed in the early 21st century, around like 2002, 2003, specifically to be kind of like a prototype for a perfect green future, where we're total harmony with the earth, it's like no carbon emissions, renewable resources, And the thing is, it actually worked. The technology was there. It's interesting, actually, a lot of the technology is based on stuff we've actually taken from the real world. But that's as an aside. But anyway, the technology worked. The world was going to be saved. But then the worst of an inconvenient truth happened, and pretty much overnight, millions, hundreds of millions of people were, suddenly without homes, and a lot of them came as refugees to this Ark. Now, the Ark was originally only supposed to house maybe like 5,000 people, but after this, is looking at like 50,000. So we basically kind of, at the beginning of the game, skipped forward about 25 years or so to where pretty much an entire generation has now grown up in this incredibly cramped area. And you've got this huge gulf between, like, the rich who are living still in the really nice part of Ark, where it's kind of like in the top of the line hotel in Dubai that was like the best of technology and comfort could afford, and they're living it up really nicely there. And then right on the other side of the divide, you've got thousands, tens of thousands of people living literally in this, what we recreated for the booth here, just in absolute squalor. It's kind of like reflects what you see in like Rio de Janeiro or in Dubai, like this huge divide. But at the beginning of the game, the whole place is on the brink, which is the title, of a civil war, because they're about completely out of resources. They've lost touch with the outside world. They know it's out there somewhere, but no one's heard from quite a while, and something's got to give. And that's where you come into the game. Well, it's really interesting. We're actually kind of doing story in a very different way because of the kind of game we are. So we're a first-person shooter, and I don't know if you were familiar with Splash Damage's background. We did the enemy territory, Wolfenstein, enemy territory, Quake War, so really strong he knows what I'm talking about, strong multiplayer background, and we're really bringing that experience here. So I tend to think of this first and foremost as a multiplayer shooter. However, unlike most multiplayer shooters, it's got a strong storyline, which, what's the storyline in, Battlefield? I mean, to put one in, they made Bad Company, which is a single-player game. We're actually sticking to our guns, making a multiplayer game that has a strong story narrative that if you as a player aren't necessarily comfortable going online because maybe you've had some bad experiences, let's just say, online, you can actually play this game offline. You can play it by yourself. You can play it co-op with up to 7 of your friends, 8-player co-op. Or, if you're feeling brave, you can go online and get the full experience. But no matter how you choose to play it, you get the same narrative throughout that, I've just kind of given you the basics of right then. Yes, which is a really odd thing to do, because normally in a multiplayer game, it's go, 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 go. No time for story, more shooting, less talking. And so that's actually a really interesting problem we had to solve. So there's a few ways we actually do it. First of all, in a lot of shooters, you'll find that you jump onto a server, and there's always that opening sequence where you have to wait while everybody's logging in. It's a limbo screen or a lobby screen. It's called a bunch of different things, and you just have to kind of wait. And maybe there's a chat window so everybody can call each other noobs. But there's really not much to do other than just wait for the match to start, and you're just waiting and waiting and waiting. And so we're looking at that is, while everybody's just waiting, we have kind of a captive audience. We could be telling them a story right now. So basically, at the beginning of every match, during that 30-second warm-up period, there's a story, there's a cutscene being told in the background that actually kind of focuses on you and your squad mates who are about to go in, and kind of goes a little bit into how they feel about this mission. You know, the mission we're actually showing at the demo here in Germany is follows a bunch of security operatives who have to go in, break into Container City, into this slum, and kick open people's doors because they're there to try and find a dirty bomb factory. And so it gives you like a brief window into how do they feel about that, because they don't view themselves as, you know, evil totalitarian oppressors who want to kick grandma in the teeth, but they're finding themselves kicking open grandma's doors, and some of them maybe they think it's cool, some of them are really uncomfortable with it, they wonder how did it come to be, and basically we just get this little snippet, this little 30-second view that kind of humanizes who you're going to be playing with, and creates a more interesting situation, and then all hell breaks loose and we have a big old multiplayer match. So that's one thing. The other thing that's really interesting too, I don't think I've ever seen this in a multiplayer shooter before. You look at like Deus Ex, you look at Bioshock, it's a really standard thing, the notion of collectibles. I've gotten 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. There's a few achievements about those I'm sure you're familiar with. And I've never actually found collectibles in a multiplayer game, and it occurred to us, well, why wouldn't we? Now the problem with putting collectibles in a multiplayer game is if you're off running around looking through every nook and cranny trying to find the extra laptop, you're a jerk and you're not helping our team, and we'd like to kick you, please. So that's actually a real failure. So we have to actually do it in a way that's compatible with multiplayer. So the whole notion is occasionally, randomly generated, sometimes in matches, you, maybe some of your other teammates, but you specifically will get a new objective. And while everything else is going on, you'll get a new objective of, we found intel on the field. Get out there and get it. We need that badly. And so you then actually have a quest or a mission to go and find that collectible. And and along the way you'll fight, you'll still play the game. And if you actually find that thing, one, it'll take you to some nice little nook and cranny that looks special and all that. But it will actually help your whole team. That intelligence, when you collect it and bring it back, will reduce your spawn times, will give you more match time, will put your enemies on the radar. There's a lot of abilities you can get. So even though you were just kind of doing this sort of almost selfish thing of going and exploring, and you were doing it to earn experience points so you could level up faster, you still helped everybody, and so you were still actually a valuable member of the team. And that's just like one of the ways that we're actually trying to give you a great multiplayer experience, but make it a little bit more enticing and exciting for people who might have stayed away in the past. Well, it could do, but I think actually it just puts the onus on us to actually be good storytellers, to not actually pontificate for 5 minutes about the evils of nuclear warheads and how it's really, really bad for society, and just blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, you go in, you have a few quick lines, almost Mammoth style, that just gets to the point. It's like, damn, man, I can't believe we're doing this. And just a few little things like that to kind of capture that moment. In addition to that, of course, we're not in the future yet, so we will have load screens. I'm sorry to say, it's not all, we're not getting them off of hollow diamonds or anything yet, so the level loads, and so we actually use those in a traditional way to actually give you the information you need to know about the tactics in the situation that you're about to go into. Very much like Call of Duty. They do a very, very good job of kind of setting the seed while you're just waiting for that 30 seconds for the level to load. So we actually plan on doing that as well. Oh yeah, actually that's something that we did play with in the previous game, Quake Wars, the whole, what it's called, asymmetrical teams, which is very, very cool. But at the end of the day, we decided not to do it because it was really kind of at odds with the notion of actually kind of broadening our horizons and bringing more people to the table, because you have that situation in Quake Wars where, okay, I think I've got it, I think I understand how to be a good medic or engineer, and what the fuck? What now? Oh, just because you happen to be on the other team, and it's just a bit much more to learn. Plus, a big element of the game, a big thing that psychologically drives our entire experience is the fact that you have this persistent character advancement. I mean, you're earning experience points that levels you up, that gives you new abilities, that no matter what happens, whichever side you're playing on, whether you're playing co-op or by yourself or online, you're always that character. Everything you've earned, you continue to earn. It's like an MMO in that way. And to say that something, because you switch sides, oh yeah, your character, you thought you knew? Yeah, you don't know him. He's completely different all of a sudden. We just didn't figure that would work with what we're trying to accomplish right now. So both sides are very, very well, are effectively the same, but on any given match, they have radically different things they're trying to do, which is the heart of our gameplay. We're shooting for 8-on-8, which you know, some people might think is actually a little anemic in, you know, in this day and age of 256 on 256. And, you know, it was a decision, you know, we made right off the bat, because we could have kept going that way. You know, I mean, Quake Wars was 32 on 32. You know, we've done bigger ones before. But we really want this to be more personal. You know, it's as simple as that. I mean, you know, our distances aren't very long. This is not a sniper-tastic game where you can just killed by some random guy from 3 miles away. Those distances don't exist. You know, this is up close. This is personal. This is a civil war. This is brother fighting brother, and it just seemed more appropriate to have these kind of tight, you know, very intense, in-your-face, close quarters commando strike as just kind of the overall theme for the game. It just fit the overall world. Plus, we're putting all this work into character customization. It'd be a real shame if the majority of the time you only saw the enemy and they were this big on screen. So we really do want players up close and personal.